Alright, so I just want to do a quick run through of how to use my Filsinger Games Legends of Wrestling framework for Tabletop Simulator. This does require that you own Tabletop Simulator on Steam. You'll need it to download the framework, which is the link to do so is in the description. You just subscribe to it and you should be good to go. So the first thing I want to show people is how to add cards to the game. There's two ways to do this. I'm going to walk you through creating a deck first, and then I will walk you through adding individual cards. I figured this would be a good time to do it since Legends Expansion 9 just showed up in my mailbox today, so we can get that done. And, then there's Promoter Prime, which is only 3 cards, so they'd be good candidates for just doing a single ad and not using a whole deck. So in order to do this, you're going to right-click on your Tabletop Simulator in your Steam thing and select Manage, and then there's going to be Browse Local Files, and it's going to bring this up. Then you're going to go into Modding and Deck Builder, and then there'll be a Tabletop Simulator Deck Editor.exe. You just double-click that, you're good to go. So what you're going to want to do is start 2 new decks. The Legends 9 is 8 cards, so 4 by 2 will work perfectly good. Hit OK. And then you're going to start a new deck as well. 4 by 2 again. And hit OK. And then you're going to have these 2 decks here. And then you're going to need to go to where you have your cards scanned. You will need a scanner to scan your cards. There's no other way to do this. You will have to make your own scans. I have my scans. I just use a basic Canon all-in-one printer scanner deal. It works pretty well for this kind of thing. So I'm going to go to my individual cards, which is where I have all of my card scans. And then what you're going to do is take all the fronts and you're going to drag it in. And it's going to set them up in a nice thing here. Just keep dragging them in till you've got the whole set. And then Raka is going to be the last one. And then you're going to go back over here to the other deck, and you're going to do the very same thing with the card backs. So you just drag the backs in. You're going to want to make sure that they're in the same spot as the fronts. So you see Sputnik was in spot 1, he's in spot 1, Billy Wicks in 2, Les Thatcher in 3, etc. So you just keep dragging them in, making sure that they're in the same spots on both decks, the front and the back. That way they match up when you bring them into the game. There we go. Then the next thing you're going to want to do, this is optional. I do it just to reduce size. You don't have to do this. You can leave them at whatever size you scan them in at. But I go to change card size, and then I do 425 by 550. And that's going to shrink them. And it just keeps the... When you export this as a ping, it keeps the size down. Not everybody is that worried about it. Honestly, I don't know why I bother, but I do. And so, just for, having everything be the same size and the same basic setup, I'm going to keep doing it. Like I said, you can do that if you want to. It is optional. If you don't do that and you use Steam Cloud, the files can take a little bit to upload. So then after that, you're going to go to export, and then just give it a name. I'm just going to call this IX. Is this the front or the back? These are the fronts. IX fronts. And then you're going to come over to the backs, and you're going to go to export, and then you're going to do IX backs. And that is all you need to do. You don't need to save the decks because it's not like you're going to be editing them if you have all of the cards from the get-go. So then you just hit play and you open up your Tabletop Simulator and you're going to click through, and then you're just going to create single player. And if you have subscribed to my Legends of Wrestling framework, it will be in your workshop section. You just go ahead and click that and hit load, and it'll load in. And this is just very basic right here. I included 4 charts and 2 cards, so we're going to obviously need to add more. So we're going to go to custom deck, and you're going to drag it over, and on the face you're going to this may not, I've already set it up so that it comes here, but it may not default to here. If it doesn't, you'll need to make sure that you navigate to wherever you saved your exported PNG file. You can do it to your desktop if you want to. I recommend putting it somewhere not on your desktop, just because that's not where you want it generally, because unless you upload it to Steam for like posterity or whatever, the cloud on Steam, then you will need it in the same place every time. So we're going to go to 9 fronts. I'm going to say I'm going to say local for this because I have my own version of this with everything already set up, so I don't really need it to be on the cloud. And then you're going to hit unique backs, and then you're going to check that and head in here and select the backs. And if you want it on the cloud, you would select cloud there. You can either do rounded rectangle or regular rectangle. I leave it on rounded. Technically, they are just straight rectangles. I didn't change it when I first started importing cards, so mine are all rounded. And just to have everything in the same type, I tend to leave that there. But if you're starting fresh, I recommend just going to rectangle and doing that. So then you want to set this to the same width you set it to in the deck editor, which was 4:2. And then you're going to tell it how many cards are in that deck. There were 8, and you don't need either one of those checked, and you hit import. And it's going to import cards, and they're going to be small. So then you're going to take this gizmo and click on the entire deck, and in scale, what I generally use is 6.25 1 6.25, and that is going to make them about the same size as the spaces here. If you drop them on the space, they're going to be a little smaller, but that's pretty much what you want. So there you go. The next thing you're going to want to do is flip them over. And this is important if you want to sort your cards the way that I do. You're going to take one card here, you're going to stick them here, you're going to right click it, and you're going to type in the name of the wrestler. This allows you to search for it. And you're just going to keep doing that for each one. And then you're going to stack them back on top of each other. And that's Don Leo. And you'll see why I do this in a sec. Wicks. And last but not least, here is Sputnik Monroe. Alright, so now that you've got them all nice and sorted, what you're going to want to do is see how I have my, I put my cards in these little bags. You may not want to do that, you may want to do that, I don't know, that's up to you. However you want to sort your cards is up to you. I'm going to show you how I do it. You can just go ahead and drag out a bag here, and you're going to name the bag something like Legends Expansion 9. and then you're going to go to tags, and in here there should be a card bag tag. Click that. It will, anything marked as a card bag will automatically lock when the game is loaded, so you won't have to worry about accidentally dragging it around or making a mess out of it. It'll basically stay where you put it in between gameplays. So what you're going to want to do before you drag it to your final destination is move it away from all the other bags, and one by one you're going to drag these cards into the bag. You don't want to drag the whole deck, and I'll show you why not in a second. It's the same reason that we named all of these cards. But now, see, if you go to this bag and you hit search, you can actually look through the individual cards and drag them out individually. And that's super nice and helpful. If we didn't name them, they would have the picture, but this area down here where it, if you hover over it and it says Antonino Rocca or Yukon Eric, that would be blank. It would just say 1 or 3 or whatever. So that's why I named them, and that's also why I drag them in individually, because if you watch, let's drag a couple out, and I have the actual bag on top of the card. So if we do this, and let's say we take these 2 and put them in there, oh, come on, go in the thingy. Oh, is it doing this because I didn't? See, then it adds them as like a single thing. And like if I drag this out, it's going to drag out both cards now. So that's why you want to put them in there. Oh, stupid thing. That's why you want to put them in there individually like that. And then you just drag this over here like this. And the next time we load the game, that will be locked in place. You won't have to worry about moving it. And that's how you add a deck of cards, like a whole set maybe, if you have them. When you drag one of these out, you have to put it back in with this thing. It won't let you put it back in the other way. Alright, there we go. So yeah, the game charts, you add them the exact same way I'm going to show you how to add the individual cards here. So you're going to come to card. You want to do just a custom card instead of a custom deck. You're going to go to face, and then you're going to select where you have your card scans. And you're going to click on the front, and we're just going to do local, and we're going to click on the back, and we're going to click on the back, and just local again, and then hit import. And I'm actually going to add in all of these before I resize them. Because see, they'll stack nicely like this if you don't resize them, and then you can just resize them all at once. Local, since I'm not really concerned with saving this, I'm not going to put anything on the cloud. Local, and let's stack that up, and then we go to the same thing, the gizmo. We click on it. I do 6.25. You can do whatever it is that you decide you want to do, and then we have them nice and resized. So then we just take them the same way we did before. We do red berry. We do, this one is Roy Heffernan. And then there's Al Costello. And there we go, we got the 3 there. Let's drag in another bag so that we can place the Promoter Prime cards in their own thing. Let's name the bag Legends Prime 2022. We're going to go to tags, we're going to set it as a card bag, and then we're going to just drag these in there one by one. There we go. And we're going to take that, put it over here. You can be more specific with it by using the, the gizmo tool on it to get its placement all proper. I did that in my version of the game, but Like I said, how you sort your cards is up to you. The other thing I wanted to show you is like the scaling on these. So when you import a chart, I tend to use 7 instead of 6.25 for the charts. It just makes it easier for me to see them. And even then, usually I have to. Oh, that's what I want. Even then, I have to use the magnifier on them most of the time. They're not big enough that I can see them otherwise. So that's how you do it, basically. I'm not even going to bother to save that. I will show you some more stuff. I'm going to load up. I'm going to kill that. I don't need the autosave. That's good. Delete that. I don't need that. And then I'm going to load up my version with all my stuff in it already. So this is my version with all my cards. I have pretty much everything, except for the ones that are kind of hard to find. So here's the thing. If you have charts and you name them properly, like let's say I have Out of the Ring, this is like the normal Out of the Ring chart, it's going to place it in the same spot every time. So here's the vintage Out of the Ring chart that came with Legends expansion, what is it, 7, I think? The vintage guys. If you drag this out and then drop it, it's going to put it in the same spot. See how they overlap one another? So yeah, that's a good way to you get your outside interference. For some reason, the game doesn't, when you just drop it out of the thingy, it doesn't, you can drop it anywhere, but then if you, see, if you pick it up and move it again, it will put it where it belongs on the table. And they're all, as you can tell here, they're all fairly nicely done. These are the vintage ones. So if I do this, it's going to put it over the top of the other end of the ropes. Same with the choice situations chart. Into the turnbuckle chart. Yep. Choice situations, that's a custom one. So if I do that, it's going to put it on the choice situations. Now I have 3 on there. Over the and then there's this spot that any custom, anything that has the word chart in it that isn't one of the normal charts will end up there. So that's how that works. It's pretty easy. But yeah, you'll have to scan your own charts. Only these 4 come with the framework. So I don't want to grab all of those. I just want to grab one at a time. There we go. I'm making y'all sit through this. I'm sorry. I'm being anal retentive about putting things back. And I probably don't need to be, but I am. So anyway, so that's how that works. Your the dice, if you haven't figured it out, if you just pick them up like this and click on them, as soon as you release your mouse button, they'll roll. So it just makes it easy because you can just do this literally, and that will roll the dice. You don't have to worry about throwing them or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much how this works. And then you just keep track of everything with your little tokens. If you need more tokens, you can drag them out. There are an infinite number of red and blue tokens in those bags. And that's how this basically works. I was going to play a match, but I don't think it's really super necessary that I play a match right now. I may do another video where I play a match on this thing. I just kind of wanted to show y'all how to do it. And I think that I have covered oh, the one other thing. So if you come up here to options and go to game keys, it has settings for look at the cards, look at the game mat, and look at the charts. Cards are the wrestler cards. The game charts are the game charts, and you can use M to magnify, which will be useful when you're looking at the game charts. And then X will bring you back to the table real quick. So if you've got cards set up there, you can watch. I will show you here just real quick. Let's just drag out Raka, and we'll drag out Yukon Eric. What the hell, why not? So this will, so let's say you're having a match. Let's flip these over. Close this, and we'll get out a chart. Let's say he's rolled into the turnbuckle. So, you know, you're here, he rolls into the turnbuckle, you're going to go over to your charts, and you can click on M and magnify it and get your thing, and then hit whatever key you bind to look at the game mat, and it will bring you back to the game mat. And then if you have another chart thing, you can go and go back over quickly by hitting whatever key you have bound to the game charts, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much how this works. Again, I'm going to kill the autosave. I don't need that. And I am good here. So we can quit out and quit Tabletop Simulator. And there we go. So the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that I will be back tomorrow evening with a basic rundown of my own Legends of Wrestling program. I want to add some cards to it and show everybody the scripting system again, and sort of do some practical application of it, because last time I just kind of ran through things real quick. This time I want to add actual cards, so I think I'm going to be adding, I think I decided on Sean Dovry from Promoter Prime 2015, Pepper Gomez from the new set, and there was one other one that I wanted to add to kind of show off the scripting system and what it can do. So I'll be back tomorrow night with that. My guinea pig is yelling at me. Shush. Quiet. Alright. He's an old man guinea pig. He just complains about everything. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night with that. Other than that, I don't have much else, so have a good one, and I will catch you all tomorrow evening.